I tried cycling to work for a year, and this is what happened. Last year, I decided to take on a challenge. I decided to cycle to work for a year. Instead of taking public transport or driving to work, I thought, why not cycle to work and make my commute part of my training? So I hopped on my bike and went to work, and it's been quite the ride, literally. So first things first, cycling to work definitely makes you fitter. I mean, if you're riding a decent distance to work, you're bound to see some gains. What started as a leisurely 18-kilometer ride turned into an all-out training session. By the time I got to the office, I wasn't just arriving at work, I was finishing a workout. The downside, the sweat. Every single time. Yes, I've tried everything, including spare clothes, the office bathroom sink, and even a generous amount of deodorant. But let's be real, you don't look fresh after a hard ride, you look like you just survived an intense spin class. And you know what? That commute turned into my secret training weapon. Triathlon training isn't easy, and finding time to fit in everything, swim, bike, run, is hard. So turning my ride to work into a legit training session was a game changer. Some days were intervals, while other days were recovery rides, but either way I was putting in the work. And hey, that's 2 hours less on the trainer, which no one really loves, right? Now, I've got to be real here. Cycling in traffic, it changes you. The thing they don't tell you about cycling is that your patience with drivers kind of evaporates. Every close pass, every car door that swings open without warning, every honk that makes you jump out of your skin, it adds up. You'd think I'd be calm, but nope, I just got angrier. But on the flip side, there's this peaceful side of riding too. Those early mornings when the streets are empty, when the sun's just rising and the air's cool, those moments, they make all the rage worth it. Another thing no one tells you about cycling to work, you get hungry, like ravenous, every single day. I was burning way more calories than I thought, and suddenly my lunch wasn't enough. Snacks, destroyed. Dinner, seconds please. I basically had to double my food intake just to keep up with the energy burn. Now, one thing that's really improved, my bike handling skills. Riding in traffic, dodging potholes, swerving around pedestrians, it's made me a better, more confident rider. I had no choice but to get good at reading the road, reacting quickly, and staying balanced in sketchy situations. And now when I race, it feels like I'm ready for anything. You know, one of the unexpected benefits of cycling to work, the savings. I used to spend a decent chunk of change on public transit, tickets, monthly passes, the occasional rideshare when things ran late. But when I started biking, that all went away. No more waiting for delayed trains, no more paying for cramped shuttle buses. That money, it stayed in my pocket. Over the course of the year, I saved hundreds of dollars. Sure, there's the occasional maintenance or bike upgrades and even N+1, but it doesn't even compare to the cost of a transit pass. Plus, let's be real, it's way more fun riding my bike than sitting on a crowded bus. Now here's the kicker. You might think cycling on the streets is risky, and yeah, it can be, but it's all about perspective. I realized something funny. Cycling actually felt safer than public transit sometimes, especially the TTC. I mean, think about it. On the bike, it's just me, the road, and the occasional crazy driver. But on public transit, well, you never know who you'll run into. I've seen my fair share of sketchy characters on the subway, people who, let's just say, make you want to stay alert. No offense to public transit, but I've had a few close calls with people who looked a little too eager to pull out something sharp or wanted to fight. So yeah, dodging cars on my bike might be dangerous, but at least I'm not worrying about getting stabbed on my way to work. But there's one thing that does stop me from cycling: winter in Toronto. The cold I can handle, but when the snow hits and the city starts salting the roads, it's game over. Salt and bikes, not a good combo. Salt will chew up your drivetrain, rust your components, and pretty much destroy your bike if you're not careful. So when the snow sticks around and the roads are covered in slush, I switch gears, literally. That's when I'm forced to take public transit again. It's not ideal, and I miss the freedom of cycling, but it's better than wrecking my bike. Plus, I've got my indoor trainer at home, so the fitness doesn't stop. But as soon as the roads are clear, I'm back on the bike. After months of indoor training and crowded trains, those first rides in the crisp air make you appreciate cycling even more. There's something magical about riding through the city as it wakes up from winter. It feels like freedom. It feels like I'm back where I belong. But here's the thing, after a year of cycling to work, despite the sweat, the hunger, the road rage, it's made me happier and healthier. There's something about being out there in nature, feeling the wind, and taking in the sights that makes everything seem lighter. I'm healthier, more at peace, and even on tough days, I remind myself that I'm out here doing something I really love. And you know what? I'll keep pedaling as long as I can because in the end, it's more than just a commute, it's a lifestyle. Keep pedaling, stay happy.